The arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin issued by the International Criminal Court last week was the culmination of a story we've been following for some time. Accusations and evidence of the forced deportation of thousands of Ukrainian children. The chief prosecutor for the ICC who brought the charges, Karim Khan, told CNN exclusively that these children were treated like spoils of war. What's more, the Russians didn't even try to cover up what they were doing. Quoting the chief prosecutor again, he said, quote, "The simple reality is that these crimes have not been hidden." CNN's David McKenzie traveled close to the front lines and spoke to Ukrainians who risked their lives to try and stop what appear to be war crimes.
Approaching the southern front line in Kherson. In the liberated city, many have fled. It's deceptively quiet until the relentless terror. The often indiscriminate, almost daily Russian shelling. We've come to investigate a very deliberate horror of the Russian occupation. So the children who stayed here were under 5 years old mostly. This orphanage had more than 40 children here. Olena was a nurse here for 17 years. Not a single child is left.
Пустота. Зупинилося все.
I feel emptiness. Emptiness. Everything has just stopped, she says. The children had everything. They were so happy. The children were happy.
Було все.
Now it's just silence. And small reminders of them. Their names still on each locker. The Kherson Children's Home is now a crime scene.
Дітей забрали.
They warned us to collect their clothes, says Olena. The Russians and collaborators called in the evening and said to prepare the children for the morning. The buses arrived at 8. The heartbreaking scenes captured for Russian propaganda, shared on a Russian MP's Telegram channel. The bewildered children, taken from their beloved nurses in October, transported to Russian-occupied Crimea or Russia itself, say Ukrainian investigators. But instead of hiding this alleged war crime, Russians advertised it. Children will be taken to safe conditions in Crimea, he says. I'll definitely go and visit. Investigators say it was part of a premeditated Russian mission to take Ukrainian children. They even targeted hospitals. There was a lot of pressure by the Russians to take these children. Weren't you afraid?
Було страшно, очень.
It was scary, very, very scary. So much pressure, says Ola Pilyaska. Twice a day they demanded we show them lists of the kids to take to Russia. So Ola and her team came up with an extraordinary deception. They hid orphans in the ICU. And they forged medical assessments, saying healthy children were severely sick. They even faked an emergency ventilation, she says. We understood that the Russians and collaborators would not forgive us, she says. We knew there would be serious retribution. We understood this. But they took the risks and managed to save children. And the critical care nurse took it a step further. Tatiana says she fell in love with one of the orphan children. She worked desperately to keep the child off the list. How are you? Now she's adopting Kira. Nice to meet you. We met them at home. A Ukrainian mom with her treasured Ukrainian child.
Kira.
Kira is almost ready to walk. What does she mean to you?
Kira, не надо.
She means everything to me, says Tatiana.
Я даже не знаю, честно.
Oh, I don't even know, to be honest. I can't imagine my life without Kira. This awful war has given her a precious gift.
It's so sickening to see this. David McKenzie joins us now from Ukraine. From what you've been hearing, how else have kids been taken out of Ukraine and into Russia?
Well, Addison, they've been taken like this in the most egregious way. But if you see how they do it, so brazenly, openly, in front of the cameras, in buses like this from an orphanage, the Russians didn't seem to care. They seemed like they were thinking they were doing the right thing. They also took them from parents, coerced them. Sometimes parents gave them willingly to go to Russian re-education camps, summer camps, they called it. President Zelensky says there are up to 15,000 children taken in those kind of camps. In the most serious cases, like the one we reported on, there are many hundreds, perhaps thousands. And it's these kind of cases, Anderson, that the prosecutor is looking at very closely. And in Kherson, all those children who have gone, well, they've ended up in occupied Crimea or Russia, some of them already adopted to Russian parents, given Russian citizenship, in a way losing the Ukrainian identity. The Ukrainians have no idea how they will get them back during this awful war and even post this war when it ever ends. The prosecutor is looking at this to arrest Putin and his chief advisor on these issues. Whether they ever get them to justice, well, that remains to be seen.
David Mackenzie, I appreciate it. Thank you.